We found 13 cruise mistakes that are absolutely destroying senior vacations, and number 7 is so brutal it made a couple lose over $14,000 in a single afternoon. I am not joking. A real couple, 2 years of planning, matching luggage, anniversary trip of a lifetime, showed up to that terminal with the biggest smiles you have ever seen. And then boom, turned away at the gate. No refund, no cruise, no second chance. Just a long, silent, heartbreaking drive back home with nothing but empty suitcases and a wiped-out savings account. That is not a rare story. That is happening right now to seniors all across the country, and almost nobody is talking about it. But we are about to change everything. In this video, we are exposing every single one of those 13 dangerous traps, the exact mistakes that cruise lines will never warn you about. The sneaky forms, the hidden health flags, the fine print that costs people everything. Stick with us all the way through, because by the end of this video, you will know exactly how to protect your trip, your money, and your dream vacation before it is too late. Now, before we dive into the list, let's be clear about something important. Seniors are not just older versions of younger travelers. You are often managing chronic conditions, multiple medications, mobility considerations, and fixed retirement budgets. That changes everything about how a cruise can go wrong. A missed excursion for a 25-year-old is a disappointment. For a senior on a fixed income, it could mean losing thousands of dollars with no path to recovery. A medical issue at sea for a younger traveler might mean a quick visit to the ship's doctor. For someone with a heart condition or diabetes, it can escalate into a life-threatening emergency within hours. The stakes are genuinely different, and most cruise content completely ignores that reality. We are going to walk through all 13 mistakes together, and for each one, we will explain exactly what the real consequence looks like. Listen, what I'm about to tell you could save you thousands of dollars. So pay attention right now. Cruise lines can legally turn you away at the door. Gone. No refund. No second chance. Just you standing at the terminal watching your dream vacation sail away without you. And I've seen it happen. Here's the part that'll blow your mind. It doesn't matter if you booked months ago, paid in full, and showed up on time. If you have an undisclosed medical condition, missing paperwork, or you fail their health screening right there at the terminal, they will deny you boarding on the spot. Every single dollar, gone. And seniors with chronic conditions, heart disease, diabetes, respiratory issues, you are the most at risk for this happening. This isn't me trying to scare you. This is just the reality that nobody talks about. So here's exactly what you need to do. First, disclose every medical condition during booking, every single one. Second, bring all your medical documentation physically with you to that terminal. Not on your phone, not at home, with you. Some people think staying quiet protects them. It does the exact opposite. The cruise line isn't your doctor. They're a business protecting their liability, and the moment you become a risk they didn't know about, you're done. Now let's talk about a mistake that costs seniors tens of thousands of dollars every single year, assuming their travel insurance actually covers them. Here is the truth most people never read in the fine print. Basic travel insurance policies routinely exclude pre-existing conditions entirely. To get that coverage, you must purchase a pre-existing condition waiver, and here is where seniors get blindsided. That waiver must typically be bought within 14 to 21 days of your initial trip deposit. Miss that window by even 1 day, and you are completely exposed. Many seniors book a cruise, grab a cheap policy months later, and genuinely believe they are protected. They are not. And the financial consequences are catastrophic. A single medical evacuation from a cruise ship at sea can cost over $100,000 out of pocket. That is not a worst-case exaggeration. That is a documented reality seniors face every cruising season. Now let's talk about something that affects millions of seniors but almost never gets mentioned in cruise planning guides: CPAP machines. If you rely on one for sleep apnea, you cannot simply pack it and assume everything will work out on board. Most cruise ships do not automatically stock distilled water in your cabin, and you must request it in advance. Some ships charge a fee for it. Others have limited availability altogether. You also need to request an extension cord ahead of time because standard cabin outlets are often poorly positioned. Failing to arrange this before departure could mean nights of disrupted sleep, or worse, going without your treatment entirely for days at sea. That is not just uncomfortable. For someone managing sleep apnea, it can be genuinely dangerous to your health mid-voyage. Now, here is one that catches even experienced cruisers completely off guard. Some ports cannot accommodate a large cruise ship at the dock. Instead, the ship anchors offshore, and passengers board small boats called tenders to reach land. Sounds manageable, right? But here is the problem. Boarding a tender requires stepping across a moving gap between the ship and the small boat, often while both are rocking on open water. For seniors with mobility issues, balance problems, or certain heart and joint conditions, cruise staff can deny tender access entirely, not as a suggestion, but as a final decision. That means while everyone else explores the destination you specifically paid to visit, you remain on the ship. Research every port on your itinerary before booking and identify which ones are tender ports. Here is a mistake that catches seniors completely off guard. Many travelers do not realize that certain medications perfectly legal in the United States are classified as controlled substances in other countries. Carrying them without proper documentation can lead to confiscation at customs or even serious legal trouble at a foreign port. Before you sail, contact the embassy of every country on your itinerary and ask about their specific medication regulations. Carry a letter from your doctor on official letterhead and keep all medications in their original labeled pharmacy bottles. And this is critical. Never pack medications in checked luggage or bags that go into the ship's hold. Always keep them in your carry-on. Bags get delayed, lost, or separated. Your medications need to stay with you at all times, no exceptions. Here is a mistake that catches seniors completely off guard. When you book a shore excursion through a third-party company, instead of directly through the cruise line, you are taking on serious risk. If that independent tour runs late, the ship will not wait. It departs on schedule every single time. Now you are stranded at a foreign port, scrambling to book flights or ground transportation to catch the ship at its next destination, entirely at your own expense. That could mean hundreds or even thousands of dollars gone instantly. Booking excursions directly through the cruise line costs more, sometimes significantly more. But here is the critical trade-off. If a cruise-sponsored excursion runs late, the ship waits for you. That protection alone can be worth every extra dollar spent. Here's something most seniors never think to question. What actually happens if you have a serious medical emergency at sea? The ship's medical center is not a hospital. It's closer to an urgent care clinic, staffed to stabilize patients, not treat complex conditions. And those stabilization services come at shockingly premium rates, often billed directly to your onboard account. If you have a cardiac condition, a history of stroke, or any neurological concern, the ship's doctor simply cannot provide the level of care you might urgently need. Medical evacuation by helicopter or emergency disembarkation becomes the only real option. Before you sail, research the nearest qualified hospitals at every single port of call on your itinerary. Most seniors skip this entirely, and that gap in preparation can cost them everything. Now let's talk about something that catches a lot of seniors completely off guard: mobility equipment. You've packed your walker, scooter, or wheelchair, and you're ready to go. But here's what the brochure doesn't tell you. Many standard cabin doorways are simply too narrow to accommodate a scooter or wide wheelchair. Certain ships, especially older vessels, have significant accessibility limitations throughout the entire vessel, not just the cabin. Scooters often cannot be kept in hallways and must be stored in designated areas, sometimes far from your room. If you book the wrong cabin category without verifying exact doorway measurements and accessibility features in writing, you could spend your entire vacation struggling through spaces that were never designed for your needs. Always call the cruise line directly, confirm accessibility specifications, and get everything documented before you finalize your booking. Here is a mistake that catches seniors completely off guard at mealtime. Cruise dining looks incredibly flexible, with multiple restaurants, buffets, and room service available around the clock. But if you have a serious dietary need, that flexibility is mostly an illusion. Low-sodium diets, diabetic-friendly meals, gluten-free requirements, or severe food allergies like shellfish or nuts require advanced coordination directly with the ship's culinary team, sometimes 2 to 4 weeks before your departure date. This is not something you can simply request at the dinner table on night 1. Seniors who assume they will figure it out on board often discover that safe options are shockingly limited at every single meal. One phone call to the cruise line's special dietary department before you sail changes everything completely. Now here is one that cruise culture practically sets you up for. The moment you board, the drinks are flowing, the beverage packages feel like free money, and everyone around you is celebrating. But for seniors on blood pressure medication, blood thinners, or diuretics, alcohol is not just a social choice, it is a medical variable. These medications interact with alcohol in ways that can drop your blood pressure dangerously, thin your blood further, or accelerate dehydration faster than you realize. And here is what makes the first 48 hours especially risky. You are also adjusting to warm weather ports, walking more than usual, and likely not drinking enough water. That combination creates a perfect storm. A medical episode in the first 2 days of your dream vacation is more common than cruise lines will ever advertise. Here is a mistake that costs seniors so much comfort simply because they did not want to seem like a burden. Most major cruise lines have a dedicated accessibility or special needs desk, staffed specifically to assist passengers with medical or mobility challenges. But here is the critical part. They only help passengers who officially register with them. Many seniors board quietly, figure they will manage on their own, and never say a word. What they lose is significant. Priority boarding, which reduces time spent standing in long terminal lines. Reserved seating in dining rooms, so they are not scrambling for accessible spots at every meal. And perhaps most importantly, dedicated assistance during the mandatory muster drill, the emergency safety demonstration every passenger must attend. These drills involve moving through crowded ship areas, climbing stairs, and standing for extended periods. Without registration, seniors face all of that completely alone. Here is a situation most couples never think about. Imagine your spouse collapses on board and gets airlifted to a hospital in a foreign country. Now you face an impossible choice. Stay on the ship alone or disembark to be with them. Neither option is free. If you leave the ship, you are suddenly responsible for hotel stays, last-minute international flights, and rebooking your entire return trip. If you stay, you are finishing a vacation alone while your partner is in a foreign hospital. The cruise line owes you nothing in either scenario. These costs can reach tens of thousands of dollars overnight. The only protection is companion coverage or a cancel for any reason policy purchased when you originally booked. Without it, you are completely on your own. And that brings us to mistake 13, and honestly, it ties every single previous mistake together. Many seniors book their cruise months in advance, feel great at the time of booking, and then never once revisit their health before departure. But here is the problem. Your health in February may look very different from your health in July when you actually sail. A new diagnosis, a medication change, a worsening condition. Any of these can create serious risks on board. The fix is simple. Schedule a visit with your doctor 4 to 6 weeks before departure. Confirm you are fit to travel. Update your documentation. Get any necessary letters on official letterhead. That single appointment can prevent denied boarding, insurance gaps, medication issues, and nearly every other mistake we have covered today. You planned this trip for months, maybe years. It was supposed to be the vacation of a lifetime, not a financial nightmare or a medical crisis unfolding in the middle of the ocean. Here is the hard truth. Every single mistake covered in this video can happen without any bad luck involved. No freak accidents, no rare circumstances, just a lack of preparation meeting an avoidable situation. And the seniors most at risk are often not first-time travelers. They are experienced cruisers who have sailed before, who feel confident, and who assume they already know everything worth knowing. That confidence, without updated knowledge, is exactly what creates the blind spots that turn dream vacations into devastating regrets. So before you finalize anything, let us make sure you are truly ready. Here is your rapid-fire checklist. Screenshot this or write it down right now. At least 60 days before departure. 1. Confirm your medical disclosures and carry full documentation. 2. Purchase travel insurance with pre-existing condition waivers. 3. Request your CPAP supplies from the cruise line. 4. Research every tender port on your itinerary. 5. Organize medication documentation for every country you are visiting. 6. Book shore excursions through the cruise line. 7. Locate hospitals at each port of call. 8. Verify your cabin accommodates all mobility equipment. 9. Submit all dietary and allergy needs in writing. 10. Plan your alcohol and hydration strategy. 11. Register with the Special Needs Desk immediately upon boarding. 12. Confirm companion coverage in your insurance policy. 13. Schedule your pre-cruise medical checkup today. That is your complete protection plan. Let's revisit travel insurance because this topic deserves more than a passing mention. When shopping for a policy, seniors specifically need 4 types of coverage. First, medical evacuation coverage, which handles helicopter or emergency transport costs that can exceed $100,000. Second, a pre-existing condition waiver, which must typically be purchased within 14 to 21 days of your initial booking deposit. Third, cancel for any reason coverage, giving you maximum flexibility if circumstances change before departure. Fourth, companion coverage, protecting both travelers if one person becomes hospitalized mid-cruise. Here is the critical warning. Price shopping for the absolute cheapest policy is genuinely one of the most dangerous financial mistakes a senior cruiser can make. A policy saving you $50 could leave you completely unprotected when a real emergency strikes thousands of miles from home. Look, if this list feels like a lot, that is completely understandable. Nobody sits down to plan their dream vacation expecting a homework assignment. But here is the truth that experienced senior travelers quietly know. You do not need to solve every single item on this list perfectly. You just need to handle a few of the big ones, and the entire experience shifts. The stress disappears. The confidence comes back. Suddenly you are actually enjoying the ocean breeze instead of worrying about what you forgot. The seniors who come home raving about their cruises are not the lucky ones. They are not the ones who happen to avoid problems by chance. They are the ones who spent a few focused hours preparing properly before they ever stepped foot on that ship. That preparation is available to every single one of you watching right now. Before you go, remember that one small oversight can unravel even the most carefully planned vacation, and nobody wants that. That is exactly why Lazy Dog Travels exists. When you subscribe and join our growing community of savvy explorers, you get access to the freshest travel hacks, overlooked safety tips, and insider knowledge that most travel channels simply skip over. We do the research so you can spend less time worrying and more time soaking in every incredible moment your journey has to offer. Go ahead and hit that notification bell right now because your next great adventure is already waiting, and we want to make sure you are fully prepared when it arrives.